What's up, lovely people? Welcome back. For today's video, I'm sharing this delicious burger recipe. I'm going to start by making the burger buns first, and I will mention all the ingredients as I go along. The first step is to combine all the wet ingredients, and I'm using applesauce and coconut oil. At this point, you also want to add the brown sugar. Now, the brown sugar is optional because the applesauce, although it's unsweetened, it has some sweetness to it. So here I have the dry ingredients. I have 1 cup spelt flour and 1.5 cups unbleached all-purpose flour. Now to this, I'm going to add salt and baking powder. Now usually when I make my burger buns, I add yeast, but for some reason I cannot find any yeast in the stores, so that's why I'm using the baking powder. So once you're done, combine the dry ingredients into the wet, and you want to knead until you form like a semi-soft dough. And this was just the perfect amount of liquid to dry ingredients, and I did not add any more liquid to this. I'm going to allow the dough to rest, and to prevent it from sticking to the bowl, I'm going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of coconut oil, give it one more knead, and cover it to rest for at least 30 minutes. While the dough is resting, I'm going to move on to making the burger patty. So right here, I'm grating 1 whole beetroot. So here I have all the other ingredients. I have white bell mushroom, the grated beetroot, I have garlic, and now for the seasonings, I have smoked paprika, coriander, oregano, basil, I have garlic powder, and I'm going to use the Boston hot and spicy jerk seasoning. Now this is very spicy, so if you cannot tolerate the heat, I would suggest that you go for the mild jerk seasoning. I'm also going to use onion powder. Now down here I have salt and black pepper, and that's just for some added seasoning. I have onion and coconut oil. I'm also going to use chickpeas and black beans. Now these were canned, and what I did was to drain that liquid and give these a good rinse. The next thing is to saute the onion and the garlic. You want to allow these to saute for about a minute or two, followed by the mushroom and the beetroot. After adding the mushrooms, you also want to add the salt, black pepper, and about a teaspoon of the jerk seasoning, and you want to allow this to saute for about 2 minutes. After adding the beetroot, you also want to give this about 2 minutes. After that, you're going to remove this from the heat and pour in a container to cool. While that is cooling, I'm going to move on to forming the burger buns and bake them. So to form the burger buns, it's a very simple technique, so watch carefully. Once you're done forming the buns, brush the top with some milk. I'm using coconut milk, and then add the sesame seeds. If you don't have sesame seeds, you can choose any other seeds of choice. Once done, brush the top with some melted vegan butter. These buns came out amazing. The one thing I must say though is that they were a bit dense, but they were still pretty good. Now that the buns are ready, it's time to make the burger. So I'm adding all those ingredients I showed earlier to the food processor. Now if you don't have a food processor, you can mash these manually, then add your seasonings. So you don't want to mash these out or pulse them for too long, because you don't want the consistency to be too mushy. You can leave some chunks of the beans in it as well. So now I'm going to go in with some more jerk seasonings and the tapioca flour. Now you can choose another flour of choice, and this is just to help to bind the burger. So once you're done, you should get a consistency like this. So now I'm going to form the burger. So dust your surface with some flour, and then you want to take a decent amount of the mixture, make like a ball, and then flatten it out. If you don't want to get your hands messy, you can always use gloves. Once you're done, you can go ahead and fry these or bake them right away, or to get a better consistency, you can freeze them. So here I have a few that I had freezed the day before, and as you can tell, they're hard as a rock. So what I'm going to do now is to fry these for about 2 minutes on each side. What you can also do is after you fry them for about 2 minutes, you can put these in your oven for an additional 5 minutes, as well as you can bypass the frying and put these straight into your oven. So now I'm going to move on to the cheese sauce, and these are all the ingredients. You will need cashew, cooked carrot, salt and black pepper, agar powder, tapioca flour, nutritional yeast, and garlic powder. So what you want to do now is to add all of those ingredients to your blender and blend until you get to a smooth, semi-thick consistency. After blending, you should get a consistency like this. It's not too thin and it's not too thick. Now, this is one important ingredient I almost forgot, the coconut vinegar. I love this vinegar. But if you don't have this, you can choose any other vinegar of choice. So add about a teaspoon and give this another blend. After which you're going to pour this entire mixture into a pot and whisk until it forms like a thick consistency, which you will see in the next couple of clips. The agar powder and the tapioca flour will give this a melted cheese-like consistency. So these ingredients are very important. So you want to continue to whisk until you form a consistency like this. So now it's time for my favorite part. So you can choose to add any fresh veggies of choice. I'm using red onion, tomato, and lettuce. And let me tell you, this cheese sauce was so good. You can also use this in any other recipe that requires cheese. And there you have it. This burger was amazing. I enjoyed it, my family enjoyed it, and I hope you all will enjoy it as well. You all are probably wondering, where's the fries recipe? Fries recipe coming soon, okay? Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for some more recipes, and until next time, stay safe and bless upon yourself.